Yo, CPers! Happy Friday to you. I feel like this video is very zoomed in. Maybe I'm just not usually sitting this close to the phone. Can I zoom in on this? No, I can't zoom in. Anyways, sorry, just fucking with technology as soon as they come on. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Sorry I'm about 8 minutes late. I wanted to get on here right at 10:30, but I had a couple things I had to finish up before I jumped on here so I could be completely with all of you and not have my attention divided. If you are here on the live, say Happy Friday, JG. Even if you're watching over the weekend and it's Saturday or Sunday, go back in time and say Happy Friday, JG. So excited to be with you guys live, as always. Andrea's in the house. What is up, Andrea? Mark, what's up with you, brother? So good to see you. So happy to be with all of you today. I've had a great morning so far. Manon is here. How are you? So good to see you. Yesterday was really cool. I did something I really haven't done ever, at least not purposefully. Yesterday I took a mental health day. See, when I was growing up, my mom used to call these things mental health days, is when she would ask me to stay home from school because I had good grades and everything else, and my mom is obsessed with me. She always has been, and she wanted to hang out with me. One of her off days, being that she worked in a salon, was Mondays, and so she would say, hey, do you want to take a mental health day? And that would mean take off of school and hang out with her for the day. So mental health day is something that's always been in my head, but not in this way in particular. So yesterday was a mental health day where I worked. I worked about a half a day or a few hours, but I primarily focused yesterday just on mindset. And I ended up doing a video inside of the bus program, a private video just for them to kind of talk about some of the things that were coming up for me and some of the shifts that I was making and some of the challenges I was having mindset wise and what I was doing to work through that. So that's really privately for them. But the reason I'm saying it is that it's so powerful to make sure you're doing the work on yourself, that you're doing the inner work, not just when you're riding not just when you're riding low, but also when you're riding high. Don't wait. You don't wait and start eating healthy once you have a heart attack. You eat healthy now. And you proactively minimize the chance that you'll have a heart attack. So the same thing here, you don't do the work on yourself when you're down. I mean, you do it when you're down also, but you don't wait. You do it even when you're up because it primes you. It primes you also for the work you're going to do with your clients. You want to be at a high level of consciousness, or what I talk about in the ladder of self-leadership. You want to be at this high level of creativity, of consciousness, of possibility. And that can be really challenging sometimes as an entrepreneur because the entrepreneurship can be really fucking scary and it can be really isolating. It can be really frustrating. It can be really overwhelming. And so if we're not doing the work on ourselves and we're trying to let the work that we're doing out in the world do the work on us, we're doing ourselves a disservice. I don't mean that you shouldn't go out there and do the work even if you're feeling low. I'm totally on board with you do the work regardless, right? You don't need to heal yourself before you can go serve others. But know that the more you can do work on yourself, even stronger you're going to be for your clients. So cool. So let's dive into this. So I teased this on Wednesday that I was going to share with you something very personal, very private, personal and private, that I want to share with you guys because, again, as some of you may know, if you're brand new, maybe you don't know this as much. If you've been here for a while, you know, I kind of share it all. Like I don't really hold anything back. And I really feel like, this day and age, human connection is so big. Like I just went and saw the movie Glass a couple days ago. Now I never saw Split, which Split was one of the characters that was in Glass. So this is probably something if you've seen Split, you know this. But in watching Glass, there's like this guy who's a psychopath and has all these different multiple personalities and he's very violent and all this stuff. And when this one girl or woman, young woman, touches his skin, the feeling of human connection and empathy that he feels in that moment completely sheds all of his violent multiple personalities and gets him back to the human that he was, that only just wanted to be loved and seen and felt connection with. And although that is a glamorized or fictional movie, the power of empathy, the power of touch, the power of connection, the power of knowing we're not alone, the power of sharing our truth in the way that it serves others and allows them and gives them permission to share theirs is one of the most powerful things we can do. And if you are a coach trying to build a competition-proof business, which you are, and that's why you're here, if you are not leaning into that, as scary as I know it can be, if you're not leaning into really showing your authenticity and your vulnerability, not as a tool, not as a tactic, but if your goal is really what my goal is when I share content, is to always be trying to create the 3 E's and the 3 R's, right? So this is something we teach in the bus, the 3 E's and the 3 R's. The 3 E's is that I want my content as much as possible to be entertaining, educational, and engaging. Entertaining, educational, and engaging, and I love how the 3 makes an E. And the 3 R's are relevance, resonance, and relationships. I want to share stuff with you that I hope is extremely relevant so that people like Trish say, why are you in my head? That means it's relevant. I want it to resonate with you, meaning the energy with which I share it is something that allows you to receive it. If I came in here right now and was very quiet and very slow and very stoic. There's some people who that's how they need to take it in and that resonates with them. And there are other people who who feed off of my energy and the passion that I feel for my message. That's resonance. And then relationships is that I'm being fucking real. And so you feel like you're seeing the real me. And that's one of the greatest compliments I can get from people that either like meet me in person after seeing me online or even ask my team, which if you want, you can ask my team on Monday, because teasing that 10 a.m. Pacific time on Monday, you're going to be able to meet all of Team JG, Tanya, Brian, and Cindy. And they will tell you, I would hope, that the way you see me show up online is the way they see me show up behind the scenes, whether we're dealing with stressful stuff or it's a regular day or we have a team meeting or whatever. So that really creating relationships with what we do is so, so important. Lucas says, talk about what turning pro means to you, please. That's a great question. I'll get to that in a second. Ariane says, you just made me cry, man. Thank you for that. You're welcome, Ariane. I fucking just absolutely adore you. Beyond words. I think you know that. Andrea says 3 E's and 3 R's. Yeah, for sure. So Lucas, as we cover it on the bus in the Business Unusual System Accelerator, we have an entire module on turning pro. And turning pro, it's a lot to answer in a quick question. If you also read my guide, which is in the welcome post at the top, and if you can't find it, let me know and we'll get you a link to it so you can download it. It's a 36-page deep dive guide. Turning pro is about channeling all of your energy and all of your service and all of your love and all of your creativity into being of service to other people. It's about not treating your coaching business like a hobby. It's about not trying to get by or build your business on passion alone, but to recognize that coaching businesses, like any other business, are successful when we give them the love, attention, and focus and systems that are required in order for it to grow. We need to nurture ourselves and the businesses we run and the people with whom we work with and the people we serve if we are truly going to be professional. It doesn't serve anybody for us to treat our coaching business like a fun hobby or just something that's cool that we get to talk to people and help them. That's great if you want to do that as a hobby, but in order to turn pro, it's about loving the thing that you're doing so much that you treat it with a level of sincerity that you would for a spouse or a child or a brick and mortar business or maybe your college education if you were very sincere about your college education. It's not about taking it seriously or making it overly significant, but it is about asking myself every single day if I was truly a professional, if people were following me around with cameras, and I have this whole reality TV show exercise that I do, if people were following me around with cameras and I had said that my one goal in life was to create a powerful, sustainable business that really impacts the world in a really meaningful, purposeful way, would the actions and the energy with which I was undertaking my day-by-day activities show that to people or give them an entirely different view of what I truly care about in life? So turning pro is about really stepping into that energy and those actions of somebody who treats their business like a professional instead of somebody who hopes and prays that if they just have enough passion and think and love coaching enough, that the business will just create itself around them. If you build it, they will come is bullshit. So anyways, that's my take on that. But let me dive into great question, Lucas. Thank you for that. So we are going to dive into me sharing something that's really personal but I think really powerful. Now, this is something that is an exercise I developed for Playful Prosperity. If you have done Playful Prosperity, give me a 1 in the comments. I know we have a lot of PPers in here. I just saw somebody from PP, which I love, this Cinnamon, who is in Australia. She posted a picture of herself getting her nails done on Instagram the other day, and in the background, she's wearing her Playful Prosperity t-shirt, which I fucking loved. She had these beautiful purple nails and then her beautiful Playful Prosperity shirt. So if you've done Playful Prosperity, give me a 1. It was my signature program that I first created and first launched in 2017, ran it again in 2018. Definitely hoping to run it again this year in 2019 because it is such a powerful transformational program, because essentially all it does is take all the things that I have used to transform my life and continue to transform my life. It's not like I transformed and now I'm fucking done and I'm talking to you from the mountaintops. Fuck that shit. Just like I said, I had to take a mental health day yesterday. It's because I was feeling a little bit low and I needed to do the work on myself. But it is the tools and the structures and the strategies and the mindsets that have allowed me to become and transition into the human that I am now and that I try to be on as regular a basis as possible, on a moment by moment basis, and the human that I needed to become to create the business that I have now, and the human that I have to continue to tap back into to continue growing and scaling and running this business that I have now. So, all right, cool. We see ones coming in. Andrea, Lisa, Mark. Awesome. Lisa says, I never got the PP shirt. Wow, was it that long ago? Well, yeah, and it was a contest. Remember, Lisa, you had to do something special to get the PP shirt. So not everybody got one. There was a certain thing that had to be done in order to get that. So, hey, Nishan's in the house. Nishan, what's up with you? Miriam, what's up? So 2 more PPers. You guys missed it. I just asked to press 1 in the comments if you've done Playful Prosperity. You both have done it as well. Amy's here. Amy, so good to see you. So excited for you and your book coming out. So this exercise I'm going to share with you is a deeper dive into an exercise that I share in Playful Prosperity. And it is an exercise called How to Make Every Decision the Right Decision. How to Make Every Decision the Right Decision. And it initially came from this feeling of like what it feels like to try to make big decisions when there's a lot of uncertainty, right? That's mainly the big thing. And that's what we see a lot of. And we'll probably talk a little bit about this on Monday. It's actually something I want to get Brian's take on. Brian, as some of you know, he's the director of sales and operations and kind of our director of enrollment for the bus program. And he's the one that takes the majority of calls of people who are interested and excited about the bus. And he really dives deep. He's an amazing coach, dives deep to find out if what we do and what we are so genuinely and geniusly skilled at helping people do is what you need, and whether the bus would make sense. We don't offer the bus to everybody. There are several people. There were a couple people this week that Brian did not offer a spot on the bus. There's nothing wrong with these people, but we just saw there was a disconnect between what it is we think or he thinks they need and what it is we offer. So one of the things that comes up a lot in those conversations is people saying they can't afford it, right? Like it's too expensive. And I totally get that. I'm not going to go into a whole money thing here, but I get that. The story about something being too expensive is both real and a mirage. There are some people that literally just have zero access to money. There are people that have come on the bus that have had zero access to money and found the money and made the money back almost immediately. There was somebody who found the money somehow in some little account they didn't know they had, and they were super scared, and then they made that money back. They literally signed a client like the week after they joined the program that paid it all back. We had somebody else who had an investor. They had somebody who they had made such a big difference in their life that this person said, you know what, I'm going to pay for you to join this program. They did so, and they ended up making back 6 times their investment in the first 30 days, and that person got paid back. So creativity is greater than circumstance. It's one of my mantras for life. So I never believe that you can't create the money or find the money if you want to. And we're not here to shame people who don't have access to the money or really don't think they can have access to the money. We will call people out if we really believe that there is a story they're holding on to and we want them to be successful, but we'll never shame them. Oh, well, if you really wanted this, you'd find the money. It's not about that. But it is about if you truly want to have this happen in your life, you will get creative and find what it is. But that's not a judgment on you. That's having you tap into yourself and see whether you really want this or not. And that again is a whole different conversation that I think we will have at some point. But anyways, so that comes up a lot, people talking about this. What we know to be true, and we don't know this just to be true because of people who have either not signed up for the bus or have signed up for the bus after telling us they thought it was too expensive, they didn't have the money. But I know it for myself when I have not signed up or had a lot of hesitance about signing up for a program and me thinking like, oh my God, it's too much money, that really what's going on is that I haven't tapped into, number one, why or if this thing is important enough to me, and number two, whether I really believe that I can get benefit out of this thing. Because what we hear a lot from people, when you hear people saying, and the reason I'm also kind of giving you this background information before I dive into the exercise is because as with everything I share here, I want you to keep this in mind for yourself, not just when you're enrolling in programs, but for when you're talking to people who want to enroll in your program and you're hearing these excuses or these stories. I want you to have some kind of background information around the psychology of what may be going on for them so you can support them more effectively. Supporting them more effectively doesn't necessarily mean they join the program. It means serving them in whatever way would actually serve them. If you really believe that them joining the program would serve them, then helping them question these stories may end up having them enroll. If you believe that them having these stories is what holds them back in a lot of areas of their lives, and you don't think that they're a good fit for your program or your coaching, you can still serve them by sharing this with them. So what we tend to see to be true, and check in for yourself to see if this is the case for you, is when people talk about not being able to afford something. I had somebody just this morning that told me they didn't have the disposable income for coaching. And if you think that disposable income is the income you're supposed to be using for coaching, then you and I have a vast disagreement or simple fundamental misunderstanding on what coaching is really for and what that investment is for. And what people are really saying when they say I can't afford it or it's too expensive is they're saying this is too much money for me to lose, right? Think about that for a second. This is too much money for me to lose. Because essentially what I'm saying, and not just other people, when I'm saying this, when I'm thinking about enrolling in a program and I think I don't have the money to do it, what I'm really saying is when and if this program doesn't work for me, I need to be okay saying, I was fine spending that $1,000. I was fine spending that $6,000. I was fine spending that $10,000 and getting nothing in return. That's the conversation that's going on in people's heads. So of course, who would sit there during an enrollment conversation for a 1 or a 2 or a 5 or a 6 or an 8 or a 10 or a $20,000 coaching program and literally say, yeah, you know what? That's fine. I can totally lose this money. No, I don't want anybody to sign up for anything if the best they can hope for is to not lose the money. That's a shit reason to invest. That's not an investment, right? Like people say in the stock market, only invest what you can afford to lose. But you have no control over that. We're talking about an investment in something where you actually control the inputs, right? You don't control inputs in the stock market. You control inputs in you and what you do with the money that you invest. So saying all this, the reason I'm saying all this and making the case for this, and let me know, give me a 2 in the comments if you have ever, and it's totally fine. This is such a safe space to do it because I know that I've done it myself. Put a 2 in the comments if you have ever said, I can't afford this or it's too much money, but really you're getting that it wasn't, you just weren't trusting yourself, or you hadn't really tapped into why it was important for you to do this, or you didn't see the possibilities, or you didn't think it would work for you. If any of those things apply, I'm giving you a bunch of options. That way you don't have to out yourself and nobody will know which of those things it was for you. I can say 2 for me on every one of those things that I just said. Though I wish I could say those were all hypotheticals. Those were not hypotheticals. Those are all things that have happened to me that I have done when I was thinking about joining something. So I'm going to tell you what I did. And what I'm also going to tell you is that I have had clients, prospective clients, do this exact exercise, and they have gotten so clear that the majority of them that have done this have ended up signing up for my coaching or for my programs. But I promise you, it's not meant to make somebody do something they don't want to do. In fact, this exercise is to get you so much clarity that you are dead fucking clear that joining what I have to offer is the thing for you or it's not. It brings clarity. It's not there to provoke you to join or to convince you to join. It's to help you get true inner clarity. And when you have inner clarity, you are a fucking self-enroller. Right? Like I call myself a self-enroller. When I am truly clear that whatever it is I'm thinking about buying has benefit for me and this exercise helps me to figure that out, I just sign up. I don't need anybody to convince me. So, and I know that you guys are probably the same when you have that sense of clarity. Alicia says, however, I know that I don't need the money before making the decision. Absolutely. It's like saying I'm not going to go to the gym till I have a 6-pack. It's silly. It doesn't make sense. You go to the gym to get the 6-pack. It's like saying I'm not going to go to college and get a degree until I get a job making $50,000 a year. No. You go to college, you learn what you need to learn, you go out there and get the job that you want. Now, of course, you don't have to go to college and get a job because you can make your own career, and that's what you're doing here. So now that we have all this backstory, now that you guys understand the power of this, now that you get that you've done the same thing with yourself where you have not trusted yourself or made up stories about the money or whatever it is, let me share with you this framework that I took myself through the last time I enrolled in a program. So I was enrolling in a program, in a coaching program last year, and it was a 5-figure investment, a very, very expensive investment, one that I had not made at that level, not for a group program. I had made that investment for one-on-one. I had never made this investment in a group program, and it was something I was very hesitant about. Now, the person that I had that enrolled me in that program, funny enough, I've now hired onto Team JG, and he's helping us to be really even more effective with our enrollment conversations. And he's somebody who's also going to be coming into the bus and teaching more about sales and enrollment and really heart-centered, connection-based selling that is not to convince people to buy shit, but instead it's to, again, get them that real inner clarity. And if this is a thing for them, that we help them do that. So the guy who enrolled me in that program now is working with Team JG, and he's amazing. His name is Brad, and I'll probably bring him in here in the group at some point and introduce you to him. And if you join the bus, you'll see him in there as well. So we had a great conversation. I told him, hey, listen, I want to think about this. And I told him exactly my thought process. I'm not fully trusting myself right now. And he helped me to get there. And I have this exercise that I've done with other things that I want to do for myself. And I'll come back to you within 24 hours. He said, great, do it. He doesn't do pressure stuff, which is why I love him. And so this is the exercise that I did for myself that I want to share with you. And maybe I'll go in later and recap this. I do have to leave for a doctor's appointment in about 25 minutes, hopefully to get this last fucking drain removed. But I want to share this with you. So it is a 4-part framework. The first thing I did was I asked myself, and you want to do, like, this is I'm going to read you my actual journal. This is like real shit. This is not sugar-coated. I'm not like crossing stuff out. I'm not making stuff up. Look, it's so used, fucking paper's coming out of it. But I'm going to share my real shit here. Step number 1 in the framework. Write down at least 3 things, skill set or mindset based, that I commit to gaining no matter the outcome of the program itself. Okay, what are the 3 things, the skill sets or mindsets that I commit to gaining no matter the outcome of the program? So just like we were saying with investing in the stock market, you have no control over the inputs. When you invest in a coaching program or in working with a coach, you have control over the inputs. You have control over what you bring and the guarantees you make yourself. right? So what the shift is here in doing this exercise is I want to shift from can I afford to lose that money to instead what can I guarantee myself that will make this program worth its weight in gold, that will give me the outcomes I'm looking for and then some, based strictly off my inputs, okay? Based strictly off of what I bring to the program. So this program was a coaching program about growing my business and doing all these things, but I had this fear, well, what if it doesn't work for me? What if I'm the one person it doesn't work for? What if I'm not good enough? What if I don't have the time? I signed up for this program right before I was going overseas to live in Europe and to travel all over and do all this work for 2 months. Worst possible time on paper to join a very intensive 3-month program when 2 of the months, you don't even know where you're going to be living. You don't know if you're going to have internet. You're launching a brand new program. You're speaking all across the world. You're hosting events. You're staying in random Airbnbs. Probably the worst time in the world to make this investment. But I knew that it was something I needed because I was convinced that the program was great, but I didn't trust myself yet. So I did this exercise, and this is the exercise I would have you do. Write down at least 3 skill sets or mindsets that you commit to gaining no matter the outcome of the program. Here's what I wrote down, and I wrote down 7 of them. Number 1, I will gain new skills, tools, exercises, etc. that I can use with my clients, right? So the exercises that they give me, I will be able to turn around and remix those and use those to serve my clients. Number 2, I will have the experience of investing at a whole new level of money, which will make it easier for me to ask that of others and to hold space for others who are making that level of investment. So by me making that higher level of investment, I was going to have a mindset shift that when I was doing enrollment conversations, I would be able to hold the space of what it feels like to make an investment that's so far out of your comfort zone. That's something I can guarantee myself. Number 3, I will receive a model and the experience of a program that is sold by one person and delivered by another. Sold by one person, delivered by another. I knew that in order to scale and make the impact that I wanted to make, that I would have to probably have somebody help me take some of the enrollment conversations for this program, for the bus. And that was very, very scary for me because I didn't want to let go of control of anything. I had such control issues of letting go things in my company. And Sean, if you're actually still watching, Sean Stevenson, one of my dearest friends in the world, he knows what a control freak I can be. And so this was something I said, I am going to have a model and experience of what it looks like to have one person bring me into the program and a different person actually deliver the program. That was something I could guarantee to myself no matter the outcome of the program. Number 4, I would get new insights on what's possible for an online business. I would suspend my beliefs about what an online business looks like and have new opportunities and new ideas that I can't even fathom right now from being in the program, being with the teachers in the program, and being with the fellow students in the program. I can guarantee that to myself, that I would seek out these new insights. Number 5, the opportunity to be coached by a breed of coaches I've never experienced. So they had coaches in the program that were coaching in a discipline that I had never been coached around, and to either challenge myself to be open and learn new skills around coaching, or to get clear that I don't want to coach that way, which funny enough, one of the things I got clear on from the coach that I had in the program was that I didn't want to coach the way that person coached, that I actually didn't feel like the coaching was that effective. And I brought that up, but I didn't think the coaching was that effective. And so I fulfilled that goal, that I learned that I wanted to double down on the way that I coach. And there were a few things that I could take away, but mainly I got clear that that's not the way I want to coach. Number 6, I would start learning about Facebook ads, which is something I wanted to deepen my understanding on for a long time. So again, regardless of any money I make or any success I had, these are all things I can guarantee to myself as outcomes, regardless of the program itself. And the last one here, I will have some increased level of clarity about my business and about the offerings that I want to provide to the world. That's something I can guarantee to myself. So what am I doing by making this list? I'm making a list so that I can ask myself at the end, if this was all I got out of the program, if I could guarantee to myself by leaving this program, I'd have new skills and exercises and tools I could use with my clients, that I would have the experience of investing at a new level of money so that I could hold space better for people that are investing outside of their comfort zone, that I would get a true model and experience of a program that's sold by one person, delivered by another. If I knew that I would get insights as to what was possible for my business that I can't even fathom right now, if I knew that I would get new insights about how to coach and whether or not I wanted to coach differently or really double down on my own coaching, if I knew that I would learn something about Facebook ads that would deepen my understanding, and if I knew that I would walk away with a level of increased clarity about my business and the offerings that I have, would that be worth the money alone to invest? Or would it be close to worth the money alone to invest? And as I went through that whole list of things, I asked myself, like, deeply, how do those things serve me? How would that really help me going forward? And I was able to justify right off of that alone that the price of the program, if I really was able to guarantee those things to myself, which has nothing to do with anybody else, this is all a matter of me guaranteeing to myself that I will show up in a way to get those things, would it be worth it to me? And the answer was fuck yes. Right? So that was huge for me. So now I take away all of the need to have certainty if the program will work for me, and instead have shifted all of the personal responsibility, all of the leadership. I've transferred all the power that is required to be successful in this program back to its rightful owner, me. I get to focus on me, on my power. I'm not looking for a savior. I'm not looking for this thing to save me and be the thing that's going to change my business. I'm taking personal responsibility that by me joining this, I am going to be committed to extracting and milking every single thing I possibly can from this program. So that was step one of the process. Step two was to write down what would happen if I didn't get the results that I wanted from the program, right? So now we're focusing back outward again. And part two was if at the end of this 90 days of a program, if I don't get the results I was looking for, what role did I play and what will I do about it if I see it coming up during the program? What role did I play in creating those results or in not creating those results? And what will I do ahead of time to proactively and preemptively not allow that to distract me or to take me off track? So what I wrote was it two things here or three things? Three things. Number one, if I don't get the results I'm looking for, what role did I play? I was too stubborn about how I think about how I have to do everything. I just said it, right? I was a control freak. If I don't get the results that I was looking for, the one role that I played in that was that I was too stubborn about how I think I have to do everything. And the flip side of that is if I see that happening, I will reach into why I'm doing this so I can serve more people via my projects by leveraging time in the programs that I offer. Right? So if I feel like I'm getting stubborn and I feel like I have to do everything, I'm going to tap back into why I'm doing this, why I need to release control, why I need to have other people help me with the business, because I want to make a bigger impact, right? So that was one of the things. Number two, I will have gotten hung up on the details of my systems and processes and not think I have a clear enough structure to deliver what I'm teaching to others. And, okay, so that's something else I get hung up on. If I'm in this program and I don't get the results, it could be because I got hung up on the details of my system and didn't move forward regardless. If I see that happening, I will commit to ask myself, what if this could be easy? And to looking back at the work that I've done to extract some of the steps high level for what I do. Okay? So that would be number two. If I see myself getting hung up on the process and not thinking it's good enough, I would slow everything down. I would commit to asking myself, what if this could be easy? And I would look back at the work I've actually done to extract the steps of what it is and how I've taught people before, okay? Number three, I would be too afraid to change because I would be afraid of cannibalizing my business. So what that means is like I would be too afraid to that I would blow up my business by getting rid of certain offerings that didn't necessarily serve people or they weren't in alignment with what really lit me up as a way to start something new. And if I see that happening, I will reach out to my coach for support, right? Because sometimes I know that I can isolate and I'll try to do this stuff on my own and I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to bother people. So I said, if I see it happening where I'm afraid to make changes because I'm worried I have money scarcity or I think that it means that people are going to disappear or they're going to forget about me or I'm not going to have as many people join my programs, then I commit to reaching out to my coach and not isolating myself. I thought it was four things. It was three things. So those were the three things that I had. So again, going back, step one, what are the skill sets or mindsets that I can guarantee to myself that have to be as powerful and as valuable as the program itself to guarantee to me? Number two, if I don't get the results I was looking for, what role did I play? And what will I do about that if I see it? Step three, this was a big one. Why am I actually afraid? Why am I actually afraid? This was a big one. And what I wrote here is, why I'm afraid is there's only really one reason. I'm not convinced that what I offer and what I teach is good enough to scale the way I want it to scale and to grow my business and make an impact the way I want to make an impact. That's all it was. I wasn't scared to enroll because of the money. I wasn't scared to enroll because of the time. Oh, but I'm traveling and it's a lot of money to invest. Those are the easy surface level things. But when I really sat down and asked myself, why am I afraid? It came down to the fact that I didn't trust myself. That I was putting way too much pressure and significance on what I was going to put in the world, that it needs to be revolutionary and change everybody's lives by itself in a vacuum, not taking into account the commitment level of people that will do the work, not taking into account that the things that I think are second nature are still mind-blowing to a lot of people. So Just like we did with the last one, if I don't get the results I was looking for, what role did I play and what will I do if I see that happening? Same thing here. So I said, why am I afraid? What's the solution to this? Where's the actual opportunity for growth here, right? And here was the opportunity for growth. The opportunity here, the solution was, and you've probably heard this phrase before, trust but verify. Trust but verify. So I'm not somebody who historically loves to just say, I'm going to trust the universe and I'm going to back away and not do anything. That to me is a little too passive. Not to say if you do that, if you like just allow the universe to provide and that works for you and that has you feel creative, great, do that. I'm not demonizing that. It's not wrong or bad or anything else or ineffective. It's not any of those things. For me, it's less effective. It makes me feel passive. I need to feel an active role. And so when I said trust but verify, what that meant to me was that I was going to be a scientist. I was going to trust that my track record of success was real. I was going to trust that when I really step into my genius zone, that I create amazing things. I was going to trust that when I sit with people one-on-one or in a group, that I have these insights and epiphanies that come up in relation in our conversation that are truly mind-blowing and original and in total alignment with the people I'm working with or the people that I'm coaching, whether in a group or one-on-one, that they feel like it's hugely valuable to them. Like I'm going to trust all of that and I'm going to verify. I'm going to test the things that I want to do. I'm going to put certain content out and I'm going to ask people, is this valuable? What makes sense? What doesn't? What's still missing? What seems easier? What still seems difficult and hard and frustrating? I'm going to test that. So instead of me trying to live in a vacuum and in a bubble where I need to fully trust myself and know that I'm the greatest in the world or know that what I do is going to make this huge impact before I actually take the steps to create the thing and go out there and just be willing to serve, I gave myself the solution of I'm going to trust but verify. I'm going to treat this all like an experiment. I'm going to trust myself and my track record. I am going to put some trust in the universe that things will unfold as they unfold. And I'm going to take an active role to test the things I want to do. That's it. Test the things I want to do. So that's step 3. And finally, step 4, and this for me was the most fun. Step 4 was this. How does me enrolling in this program and getting the results that are possible for me, not guaranteeing, getting the results that are possible for me, whether it's the ones that I already guaranteed to myself or the ones that could be a part of the actual program if I do the work, if I really, trust but verify, like I said here, if I'm really open to reaching out for support in the way I said I would, if I saw these things coming up and derailing me, then I get to this last question, how does taking this course or joining this program support my mission in life? Right? How does it support the business and the life that I want to create? And this was fun. So I wrote this down. And again, I'm sharing right off the paper here. I wrote, I want to be really well known and loved for my work. I want masses of people to have joy activated in their lives and see possibilities for themselves to be lit up in the world. And then I wrote here, Howard Thurman quote. The Howard Thurman quote, don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive, and then go do more of that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. That quote by Howard Thurman is the guiding principle in my life and my work. It's in our business plan. It's in our values and mission and purpose document in our business. It's very important. So I wrote that there just to remind myself that I want to have the masses of people that have joy activated in their lives and see possibilities for themselves to be lit up in the world. If I am only delivering everything myself, if I don't take a program like this to learn how to do what I want to do more effectively, there are only so many people that I can help to find that joy activation and to find those possibilities, and only so much money that I can make. The more money I can make, the more I can invest in myself and in others, and the more space I will have to create and find even deeper ways to go into my own genius and to find new ways to help others do the same, right? That to me solidified it, right? So think about this. Think about if you sat down and did this whole thing and at the end of an hour or whatever it takes you, I think it took me about an hour. At the end of an hour, I now have 7 things that I can guarantee to myself that I will take away from this program because I have transferred the power back to me in my own self-leadership. When I now have those, I have 7 things that I will guarantee to myself. I also have a clear understanding of the things that can hold me back and what I will do ahead of time to make sure they don't derail me. And then on top of that, I figured out why I was actually afraid and the easy and simple solution of what I can tap back into to make sure that that fear doesn't derail me. And then at the very end of that, I have a clear line of sight into why doing this fulfills the life and the business I want to create. Once I did this exercise, it was done. I contacted Brad the next day and said, I'm in. Because I now had all the inner certainty that I needed to know this was the right decision for me. Now, You may go through that exercise and maybe you're thinking about applying for the bus and you've been holding back, right? Because you're worried you can't afford it or you're worried you're not far enough along or whatever it is. And we work with coaches at all levels, people that are just starting out and people that already have more of an established business. If you have been holding back on applying because you're worried that it's too expensive or it's not going to be for you or you won't be able to work it or whatever it is, or you don't have the time or it's not the right time or you have so much going on or you'll wait until this is perfect in your life and then you'll sign up. Or you've had an enrollment conversation with me or Brian and you're on the fence and you have these stories about, oh, I don't know if I can afford to lose that money or whatever other excuses come up there. Do this exercise for your own clarity, not to join the bus or not join the bus or to join the bus. Not for any of those reasons, not for an outcome for me, but for a sense of clarity for you. Because if you do this exercise and you line out with whatever decision, maybe it's a decision about you moving. I did this exact same thing when I was super stressed out about picking up after my breakup and moving from North Carolina to Los Angeles. I did the exact same fucking thing to quell my own fears and to make sure that I had the resourcefulness and the creativity and the centering and the self-leadership to make this huge move across the country. This exercise works for any big decision. If you do this big decision, I can almost guarantee you, if you are truthful and honest with yourself, you will get the clarity you need to make the decision that you need to make in the world. But love all of you. If you're on the fence with doing anything in your life, do this fucking exercise, empower yourself, give yourself clarity, and then move fucking forward. All right, love you guys. Thank you for keeping up with me. If you have to, watch this back and slow it down so you can catch everything. All right, love you guys. Have a great day. Mwah!